guys, this is my third time trying this video because my cat's going crazy, so let's try again. Alright, so today I want to talk about Fraser Anning. He is a politician in Australia, unfortunately. Anyway, just a bit of background. He came into the Senate in August last year, and he got in over a technicality because the way Australia's voting system works is people vote, like, voting is compulsory here, and you number, like, who you want, like, either a party or you can do individual people and stuff like that, like who you want in Parliament. And then it goes, so we've got the two major parties, Liberal and Labor, and then there's the Greens, which are also quite a big party. Then you've got smaller parties and then independents. And then after pretty much Liberal, Labor and the Greens, it's whoever gets the highest votes. It goes in that order. And there's normally only 4 or 5 parties, I think it is, in the Senate. So if you don't come within that, then, you're not in. So he got in over a technicality. There was another person was voted in, but then he had a dual citizenship, and that's not allowed in Australia. He became ineligible for Parliament, and Fraser Anning got in on technicality. He received something like 19 votes all up, so that's nowhere near enough to get into Parliament normally. So I'm just going to talk about the things he's actually said and done since August last year. I will mention a few things that were on his private Facebook page before he was in Parliament, just to give you an idea about what his views are and why I don't like him. So he claimed that that Barack Obama was secretly a Muslim. And I did Google this because I was actually interested to see if there was any truth to it at all. Not that it would matter if Barack Obama was a Muslim in the first place, because he's obviously not a fundamentalist Muslim. He's not hurting anyone. That's his religion. That's his right to have whatever religion he wants. But I thought I'd look it up to see if he was a Muslim, because I didn't know. There's no evidence to show he is. He also approves of Vladimir Putin and the way he acts, which is really not Australia. There's a lot of issues with the way Vladimir Putin runs things, and we really don't want that in Australia. He also shared fat-shaming jokes about women, and he seems to hate women a lot. That's just my personal opinion from what I've seen from stuff he's said. He just seems to think men are superior to women. When he first was appointed to Parliament, there were bankruptcy proceedings against him in the Federal Circuit Court. So normally in Parliament, what happens is you cannot be a senator or anything if you're bankrupt. So he was actually put in Parliament while these were going on. I don't know if he disclosed that or not. Anyway, they had to do a full investigation into that. He's outright said that he wants multiculturalism abolished in Australia. Now, there's a huge problem with that. Australia, on the grand scale, if you think of things like the UK and the US, we are a very small country. And we were built on multiculturalism. We have the economy we have because of multiculturalism. And it's created Australia as it is now. If you think about it, you know, if there was no multiculturalism, we would not have the foods we have. We would not have some of the technology we have. And at the end of the day, we all came to Australia as immigrants. He may not want to admit that, but we're not Aboriginal, we're not Torres Strait Islanders. We did invade this country, and that's something, you know, he really needs to think about and sort of show some respect for. He's very disrespectful towards the First Peoples of Australia, towards anyone from a different country. He's just, really disrespectful. He wants a white Christian nation. So let's just ignore the blatant racism in that and focus on the Christian part. Not everyone is a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I was born in Australia. Does that mean I wouldn't be welcome here just because I'm not a Christian? There are other religions as well. Like, you know, he can be a Christian and that's absolutely fine, but he can't force his religion on others. And that, to me, is a huge issue, because you do have politicians who are religious, but a lot of them sort of put their, not talking about the Liberal Party here, obviously, but from other parties, they put their religious beliefs aside to do what is best for this country and what is best for the people of Australia. Fraser Anning can't do that. He used the phrase final solution in relation to immigration in his maiden speech in the Senate. So what happens is, when a politician gets elected to the Senate, they do this maiden speech, which is normally about their policies and what they believe in and stuff like that. And if you're at all familiar with the Holocaust, the final solution was something Hitler used, which was for mass genocide of Jews. And that's what he wants. That's the way he used it for Muslims. And he thinks Australia's been overrun by Asians, and he said the final solution is, you know. So that, there was a big backlash from that. Politicians from all political parties made it known that that was not okay, and that's not what Australia is about, and that's not what everyone else believes. He blamed the Christchurch attacks on the victims. So after the Christchurch massacre, he said it was, you know, I'm sure you already know about what happened because it was very well publicised. But basically, far-right wing fundamentalist, white supremacist went, I believe he was from Australia, went to New Zealand and shot up 2 mosques, killed a lot of people, injured a lot of people. And Fraser Anning, you know, and these were just Muslims going about their daily lives. There was no weapons from them. There was no violence whatsoever. They were just wanting to go in and practice their religion and do their own thing, and this person killed them and just started shooting. And so Fraser Anning said it was because of New Zealand allowing Muslims in that this happened, and that was highly criticised everywhere. You know, that was too far even for the 2 parties he used to belong to, who are quite racist, to be honest, but that was even too far for them. And he was, you know, both Liberal and Labor senators spoke out against him about it. And then he refused to apologise. Didn't care how offensive it was. Didn't care that he was wrong. He just refused to apologise. So then the Senate was forced to censor him over these remarks because he was on social media. He uses social media a hell of a lot. He's like Australia's version of Donald Trump. So the Senate censored him. He wasn't allowed to say anything sort of like that. Then he said that it was an attack on free speech. He doesn't understand the difference between free speech and hate speech, let's face it. So he's been banned from Twitter and Facebook a few times now because of the things he posted were that extreme that Facebook felt like he had violated the community standards, and so did Twitter. He then went on an attack on them. He never sort of looks at it may be him that's causing this. It's always everyone else's fault. It's always people are trying to stop him from saying what he wants to, but he doesn't understand free speech. He doesn't understand that you have to be respectful to others. And then came the federal election. And, he didn't get re-elected, which I think is a really, really good thing. But now he's saying that, there was collusion and the results were rigged, and the Australian Electoral Commission, who count votes and everything, purposely didn't put his votes through, and he never stopped to think maybe it's just that people don't want him in Parliament because of his beliefs and the way he acts. He's decided, that there was a collusion, there was a conspiracy theory to get him out or something, and now he's made a complaint about them, and this is going to go on, I suppose. So, yeah. Wow, I've just talked about Fraser Anning for 12 minutes, and I could feel my brain cells dying from just the stuff he said and done. And his followers are not better. They go, if you disagree with them at all. I was told by one of his followers the other day when I pointed out why Australians probably didn't vote for him in the election. I was told I support Sharia law, that I support people being beheaded and all of that, just because I don't think Fraser Anning should be in Parliament. Now, I do not support anything like that, but Fraser Anning is going the wrong way about it. And obviously, we don't have beheadings in Australia. And I pointed this out to this person, and they said, yes, but it's in other countries, and obviously Australia has no say about other countries, and that's a whole different matter. But basically his followers will attack someone if they don't agree with every single thing Fraser Anning has done. They're quite often abusive to others. I've seen on Fraser Anning's Facebook page that they go straight to name calling and body shaming people if they just don't, even if it's just one thing they don't agree with, they act like he is a god, and I think that's very, very dangerous. And Fraser Anning does have a responsibility to encourage these people who believe in him just wholeheartedly the right way to act, and he's not doing that. And so I don't think he deserves a place in politics because he can't take the responsibility. He just wants to cause pain to people. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop talking because my brain cells are dying and I cannot talk about him anymore. It was really draining reading this stuff that he's done and reading through his Facebook page, I probably won't talk, well, I probably will talk about him again because he really, angers me. Some politicians I don't like, but I just don't really talk about, but he does anger me because I believe his ideas and his policies are so dangerous. They will hurt people. Anyway, until next time, see ya.